Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the next Wasteless World Talks with Bill, Kevin, and myself, writing the future on the back of language. And today we have an ordinary world, and I'm sure both will pronounce it better than me. But I will start with you, Bill. If you close your eyes and you hear the term world, what came first to your mind, please?
Three or four or five or six different things at the same time that I have to disentangle here. Um, uh, the world is 8 billion people, and we were just made a comment about 8 billion people before we heard the word. 8 billion people is our world. I suspect that their minds work a lot alike and not as differently as the tribes would like us to think, but that was one of them. One of them, of course, is the globe, the Earth, uh, spinning through the heavens. Um, world. There are so many different worlds in this world.
What about you, Kevin?
Yeah, I was thinking along similar lines to Bill, but this phrase, being in a world of your own, I think it's such a very nice human skill to have, to escape for a few hours and be in a world totally of your own.
That's beautiful. Is it the world which is inside of us?
Yeah, I think, yes, yeah.
Because you remember we have spoken. It's a quite long time ago. We have spoken about the door. On the bottom of the door, there is this piece of. We have it from wood. Let me check the word. And that was very interesting discussion at the time. And I'm just now coming, as you said, as you explain it, we spoke about the threshold. Threshold. And this is, you have to cross the threshold to be by your own, probably. And it's almost maybe 2 years when we spoke about it. It's quite interesting that we are coming back to that. You know, for me, of course, I know my intention to build wasteless world. And of course, it is the word as well, but I give them the second term. And I just, yesterday, do you remember as we spoke about the two astronauts which stays in space because of some failure and so on? So they should be there a week. They are returned after 9 months or so. And I asked in our discussion, I asked, I would like to see what will be their salary because they are overtime for 9 months. Have you seen the amount which they receive?
No.
It was published yesterday, and the Germans take it over. It's generally they will get €4 something surplus only. They will not get any allowance, anything like that. They will get a very low surplus. I will say that they are cheaper than the labor workers in a factory. And, you know, not speaking about the health issues, and there will be a lot of things after 9 months because they have not been prepared for that. And I just wonder in which world did we develop our world? In which world we lead it? You know, when two people which stranded, in fact, stranded on the orbit, are less paid than somebody who is just sitting on the back somewhere in an office. It's so strange.
They were up there for 9 months because somebody made a mistake. And they were the front line in this, and the front line always gets hit the hardest. On the other hand, there are people who own space companies who make more money because of it and don't share that money. And they're the ones who make the mistakes. It wasn't the guys flying the rocket. It was the guys who designed the culture that made that rocket. It is so sad. I'm sorry, did my politics jump in there? Sorry.
Not really, not really.
So I guess all the people with the one-way ticket to Mars, they're not getting paid by the hour either.
I just wondered whether they will take with them the tombstones already. You know, it will be hard to make a tombstone on Mars. We don't know how hard, so they should. No, but speaking about the world, you know, everybody now is understanding that we are living really in a very strange time. And time is construct, so this is a double strange. But do you really think it is so? Because some people say the time is flying by, but it was all the time flying by. Maybe at the very old times you do not have so accurate measurement device on your hand, but the time did not speed up. It remained the same.
I think it depends which world you choose to live in. You know, you can live in a peaceful world, a busy world, a violent world, money-making world, creative world. It's up to us to choose which world we want to spend our time in.
But that's interesting because you just mentioned a row of worlds, but there is only one. We are living on. And still we pretend. So do you think what you just mentioned is the pretended worlds?
It's the world, it's how we choose to live in this one world. There's a lot of different choices, which create a lot of different ways to live on the planet.
And we can change the world that we live in. My world is different today than it was 20 years ago. But that's the most wisdom I think that these talks have produced in maybe years. Yes, there are many different worlds, and we just have to make sure we choose the right one for us.
The question to both of you, are we choosing the worlds really? Or are we choosing the way how to live in the world? Because for me, there is only one world. I do understand what you said because I read about the different worlds and so on. And in science fiction, we read, but I'm just now, it's so resonating with me that I will say I choose the way, I don't choose the world. Or am I completely wrong?
I don't think you're wrong at all. I think that the perspective that your mind is taking. So, um, I said, for the last year, I've been trying to figure out how to live in this, for 6 months, this altered world. And the conclusion that I came to was that I can't change the world, but I can change my small corner of the world. And I'm going to do that by doing more of the types of things that make my corner of the world better for me. So I am going to talk to people more. I'm going to forgive people more. I'm going to engage people more. And so that's what I've been trying to do for the last few months, because I can't change the world. I can only change my corner of it. But what we said earlier, my corner of the world is the only world that I know. So maybe I am changing the world.
Kevin.
I think there's some worlds, parts of the world that I don't have anything to do with, like the world of finance and banking, the world of huge corporate manipulation, politics, all those things. It's just nice to constantly choose not either to allow them into my world or enter into their world. So you can keep these things apart.
I would question that, Kevin, because you write and you make movies, and those creative endeavors are consumed by people in the finance world and people in all these other worlds. So in your way, you are influencing them, and you have a part in these other worlds as well. Does that make
Yes,
sense?
it's true. Yeah, I help them spend their money. No, but it is actually true. And if somebody has money to invest, they'll say we want to invest in a certain kind of film. And so then when they read the story, then they'll decide, okay, this is where I want my money to be. So there is interaction, but I'm not involved in earning money the way they earn money, or living that kind of life. So I guess it is maybe it's just a lazy expression to say that we live in different worlds, but I think it's a good expression. It really sums up. We may have one planet, but we have different worlds.
I know that I mentioned a few minutes ago that there is one world, but maybe you are one, Kevin. You are one, Bill. I am one. And maybe we are not only one because you write a book and you are 2 words at a time, or 3 words, or you write. So I think there is a multiplication in everything what we do. Just before we started, I wrote a post about, I found out that in Estonia, there will be an Industry 5.0 conference. It's already for 2nd year. So I asked them why Industry 5.0 founder or anything about Industry 5.0 is not there. And I listed all the speakers. And few of them thanks me for the post, but one was very aggressive. Why? And he explained to me that I have no IP rights on the term, which I never said I have, that I cannot be a founder. And so I tried to explain, but he is so resistant. So at the end, he asked me to remove him from a Industry 5.0 event where he has Industry 5.0 keynote, and I should remove him because it is not about Industry 5.0. So it's so the words in some time and some way can be really strange how they are set up, we see it, as you mentioned, in politics. We see it in a different aspects. Just now learned yesterday that Accenture is in a big trouble, same as the Big Four. The companies and the people realize that they are not delivering what they are promising. They maybe do the papers, but the results at the end are very different. And they are struggling right now quite strongly, considering that they need to find a new business. So they look for advisor. So it's, and my question to you, do you think that with this new technology, AI, and all these language modules and so on, we are creating next worlds? So we are multiplying the existing ones.
Oh, absolutely. I think the, the world that I live in is really a spectrum, um, and there are billions of data points along that spectrum, and the same with 8 billion other people, and so we have almost an infinite number of worlds that are coexisting, and that's interesting that we, with that many different worlds coexisting on one planet, that we don't love each other more or understand each other more or kill each other, which I guess we do sometimes. Um, but that many different worlds all coexisting, that's a huge thought.
And I think that's the in a way the weakness of environmental communication when they say we've only got one world and we have to protect it, but we actually don't. We have 8 billion worlds really, and for some they have no interest in protecting it. They have more interest in exploiting it.
There is one more. There is this overshoot day, which is, as they explain it, this is the day when a country overshoot its yearly production or whatever, how they explain it. That we need not 2 wars, but the US needs 3 wars because of the consumption, Czech Republic 4, I don't know. So in fact, we have to multiply this number by 8 billion, most probably.
I think you probably need to multiply it by a bigger number than 8 billion, because people use the word world, so differently. So when we're talking about all the countries in the world, and there are third world countries, right? So they're the ones who are maybe not as developed. So I've heard third world country. I've not heard fourth or tenth world country. What about the ones at but then it gets into how we value things. And is it just on GDP or is it on lifespan? There's so many different ways to rate a country. Um, and in fact, in the book, uh, I listed 8 or 10 different ways to rate a country. Everybody's used to GDP. Uh, some have started now to use lifespan. There is a happiness quotient per country, and I think Finland just won that again. Finland or Denmark, one of them.
It's usually
Um,
Finland or Denmark, one or the other will win it.
yeah,
Czech Republic
so
was 20th.
20th,
Yeah. And US, I
20th
think
in
24.
well, then we're coming over there.
You are welcome. All the time you are welcome here.
Yeah.
Um,
So what does world actually mean? It actually has so many different meanings.
Yeah, and we each create our own world. Our impression of the world is how we interpret the world is entirely our own.
and you have grandchildren, and you see they have very different worlds.
I can't believe you just said that. I'm sitting here thinking, okay, when this conversation cools down a little bit, I'm going to introduce my grandchildren. Uh, and here's what I was going to say, and you preempted me, but thank you. Is uh, I'm walking with the older one. In fact, he's turning 9 in 3 or 4 days. 9 years old. Uh, very smart. They're all very smart. And he is at my side and he's looking up at me. He's continually looking for um, feedback. He's very empathetic. He's continually looking for clues as to what this world that we are sharing, and he absolutely is sharing that, um, uh, you know, as much or more than anybody I've ever known. Very plugged into the other person. Um, the second son, 2 years his junior, so he just turned 7. Also very smart, very, very smart. We'll be walking on the beach, and he, in the truest sense of the word, is in his own world, right? He's off being a ninja turtle. He's throwing things, or he's down on his haunches. I don't know how little kids can get down so low to the ground, and he's looking under a rock, looking for a crab, or looking. He's in his own world. He said, James, 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 I'm talking to you, right? And then I have to knock on his door, multiple times before I've got his attention. Two completely different worlds. And their younger sister, 3.5 years old, completely different from the first two. So you really have to study the children to understand the meaning of the word world.
Bill, I have a good and bad news for you. We can go on our knees to the same low level as the children. The only issue, this is the negative. We cannot get up. That's the only negative.
Oh, yes.
But then, Bill, maybe it could be interesting to look at not just the word world, but put it next to the word planet. So a planet is something physical, whereas the world has much more, it's more spiritual.
That's a good word. Yep. Yep. It's very easy to define the word planet, right? I think this discussion would be about 6.5 minutes long if the word had been planet.
Not with 3 of us, but okay, I do understand. I had yesterday, once again, a talk about nothing, which Jana, which is a lady who met me for 6 times or 7 times already. So we are really deep in conversation. And she said, Michael, I steal your talks about nothing. And I said, you didn't. You just spread it around. And she said, she is a grandmother. And she said, I offered to my grandchildren to talk about nothing. And there has been fascinating about it because they discovered a word which nobody did with them, which they never thought, because everybody would like to talk about something. And she's a granny who offered, we will talk about nothing. And she said she is 8 years old and I think 6 or 4, not sure. And she said, it's so fascinating. The children, especially the younger one, which is not influenced by school or any other relationship. It's so open and discover their own ways and words and so on. The older one already asking, how should we talk about nothing? So it's already seen this influence. Yes.
You use the word should.
Sorry for that.
Big red flag. How should we be thinking? I mean, this is what the kid said, because the kid is trying to mold his concept of the world to what has been given to him.
You are right. You are right. So, but I would like to say that it's so fascinating that to transfer this type of talks which we have to people much younger than us, children who it's so fascinating. The discovery which we have will be multiplied by the views of these beautiful little humans.
Please tell Anna that I am going to have an experiment with my 3 little ones, and I will report back.
Great. I will tell her. She will be happy. And you know that.
Guys,
yes. Kevin?
No, I was going to say, I figured out a definition of the word world. A world is a planet with life on it.
That's the definition delivered by Wikipedia or Google or?
No, by me just now.
Okay.
From our talk, it's suddenly, I was just thinking, what is a world? A world needs life. Otherwise, it's not a world.
On the other hand, if it should be a planet with a life on it, how can we have 8 billion words in here, not counting with this special finance, whatever other types of words? So the question is whether we use this right term.
Yeah, and if you take the world of a tiger, it's completely different to the world of a human. Totally different.
I'm not sure. Let me add something to that statement. I've been watching videos of people who, for example, play the guitar or music in front of the cows and the reaction of the cows, and also people doing similar things with other types of animals. The only conclusion I can come to is that that cow has much more of a life and an understanding of where they live than simply being a hamburger, right?
Yeah.
There's so much more out there. They understand so much more than we've ever given them credit for.
Have you seen the movie The Hitchhiker's Guide Through the Galaxy?
That's like 50 years old, isn't it?
No. The movie is new. The book is old. The book is about 50 years old,
Okay,
but it is a movie, American
I've
movie.
not
And
seen it.
it's the book is very complicated and difficult in some way. But the movie, John Malkovich is playing there, and it's really a great one. I do recommend. And at the end, same as in the book, let's say the God says to the main character, he said, we have created the planet, the Earth, not for you, for mice, for mouses. We use the mouses for experiments. And John Malkovich played the main constructor, let's say the God, and he looked at him and said, "Are you sure?" So who made the experiment on whom? It is really, I do recommend everyone to watch the movie because it is how to transfer the book, crazy book, in such a movie. It's a masterpiece, really a masterpiece. So I don't know, but you will find it, I'm sure, on some libraries, on some video, I mean, online. But it was so interesting, and you are absolutely right. I think that we see a very little of all these words. We speak only about 8 billion people, but we are outcounted by so many different species, starting with ants and mice and many more. So we are, and I think they all have their own world. So it's
Right, and
interesting.
they can all experience this world that we think we all live in differently, in a lot of ways better than how we experience it. Their eyesight, an eagle being able to see a mouse from 10,000 feet in the air, or a dog hearing frequencies that we can't hear. So the animals and the other life on Earth is experiencing a different life on Earth than what we are.
Yeah. Have you seen this? It's wonderful how nature is just quite fantastic sometimes. And I think it's in Northern California and Oregon. The wild bears have figured out how to open car doors. So,
That's scary.
but yeah, but unfortunately, they can open the door and they can close it, but they haven't figured out how to open it from the inside. So there's all these videos at the moment of people getting out to their car in the morning, and the car is rocking because there's an extremely agitated black bear inside it who can't get out.
Oh,
I guess this is a case of when worlds collide.
right.
And you spoke about it, and just remember a few days ago, my daughter was on a short trip with her girlfriend, and she parked her car in front of the girlfriend and then came out. There was a cat sitting on the roof of the car. It was in the night already. So she carefully opened the door, and the cat automatically step in, look for the hottest spot, and stay inside the car. So she went to her girlfriend and said, "There is a cat in my car." And she, "Yeah, that's George. He like it warm." So neighbor's cat. But it's exactly that. The cat did not think it's not my car. I shouldn't lie there. It was a hot spot, so she was there. Then somebody opened the door, and cat is used to get inside, so he'd get inside and look for the hottest spot. So, and it's you mentioned, Bill, at the beginning, when the 8 billion brains synchronize, work together, they have the same aim. It's not the war, it's not the killing, it's just being there, being present, being there with the others. Because if you will harmonize with the others, it will not disturb you. You will feel well, you will feel good, you will feel exactly as we feel here. And that's the point. This is what we have to reach. And maybe this understanding of the world, or 8 billion words, or trillion words, will help us. Not sure. Sorry. So, okay, it was interesting when I looked for the term for today. I never thought that we haven't talked about world.
Yeah, we talk about simple little world words, but this word today is as big as all outside. It's the biggest word you've ever come up with.
It's so interesting. And we are meeting in Wasteless World Talks. So it will be expected that we did, but we did not. What is
Actually, talking about those two astronauts, when they were in space, they may have left the planet, but they hadn't left the world. Had they?
They had not left their world.
No. So the world goes with us.
I do remember, it's a long time ago, I participated on a challenge for science fiction writers. And I wrote a small poem at a time called The Notice. And it is about you are coming to your workplace, and you have a birthday, and there is waiting a small envelope, so you expect to have some money inside or something. And there was a notice. You have to pack all your stuff and leave within 1 hour time. And at the end of the story, which I wrote 20 years ago or so, you recognize that he is a spaceman, and he's in the space.
Isn't there a Broadway play? I think it was a movie as well called "Stop the World, I Want to Get Off." Kind of nice sentiment in a way.
I think I remember that without details. But then we have all felt that just before the abyss. That last thought that you have is, stop the world. No more, no more. I can't take any more. I have to get off.
So interesting discussion today. As usual, there is nothing, it doesn't matter about which word we choose. It will be interesting all the time. But I love it how we get closer to really not to the final answer, but too many questions, because questions are better than the answers, at least for me.
When you say that, some little voice inside of me suspects that even with today's good discussion, we have not scratched the surface. Why? How can it be any deeper than what we just did? I guess it's because we've done 2 or 3 years of this, and when you think, oh, that's a simple word, and then you spend an hour talking about and going to so many different levels of it, that my mind maybe suspects that we got down to the fifth or up to the fifth level, but there's really almost an infinite number of levels ahead of that.
You know, I had yesterday another talks about nothing with someone who I don't know. He is a author as well. Because he would like to publish book, he created his own publishing house. So somebody can do that. And he has a twice combat cancer, for example, Bill. So it will be very interesting. So I invited him and send him. And next time I shouldn't send these people the recordings, because at the beginning, before he received it, he said, yes, I will join. And unfortunately, he did not. So maybe he did not have time. Or, there has been very few who join us for more than once. And the question is, why? Did we create such a special world which we do not which nobody should enter? No, I think we are speaking in a way that everybody can enter, but for whatever reason, it's not comfortable for them. But we have less than 1.5 minutes to the end, and I think the wasteless world is one of the words combining many of those. And I'm really looking forward every single week to discover the next one, because it's so fascinating to talk with all of you and to really then have the library. You can, when I choose the new term, I look for all these different terms. Fascinating. And one day maybe we will have time to listen to that. Until now, I didn't listen again to a single one.
I have not read any of my books after they were published.
So have a nice time, free of waste and wasting in all its forms. Stay safe, be free, be human, and let all of us lead everyone into the world which is wasteless as it should be. Because wasteless world is peaceful world with humans and animals and nature and the curiosity of children in every single one of us. And that's the point. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.